Hello and welcome to this beginner-friendly introduction to Python. My name is Darwish and today we are starting from zero, no matter your background. By the end of this video, you will have a strong foundation to start your Python journey. Let's dive in. I would start why I'm gonna learn Python first. Python is one of the most popular and versatile programming language nowadays. Here, why you should learn Python. First, it's easy to learn. Syntax is clean, beginner friendly, making it great first language for any new programmer. Second, versatile. Python can be used in various fields, such as web development, data science, AI, machine learning, and even game development. Third, it's open source. Fourth, it's high demand. Fifth, community support. A massive global community means endless resources, libraries, tutorials are there for you. And by end of day, we're gonna say it's high demand. So you're gonna find a lot of opportunities are there waiting for you. Let's go to the history of Python. Python was created by Van Rossum in 1991. The language was designed to be readability and simplicity in mind, making it accessible to both beginner and professional. The name Python was inspired by the comedy series Python Flying Circus, not the snake, by the way. The timeline of Python started at 89, and at that time, Van Rossum began working on Python as a hobby project while he was working at Centrum Informatica in Netherlands. Then at 1991, Python 1 released, have core features like construct, print, exception handling, and even function. And at 2000, Python 2 introduced the feature like list, garbage collection, based on reference and even Unicode support. And at 2008, Python 3 released. At that time, it was like evolution, significant update, amazing to the language. It focused about so many features and removed all redundant. It make it the syntax modernized. However, at 2020, the end of Python 2 support and the Python 3, all the world moved to Python 3. And today, Python is one of the most widely used programming language. Open source community, vast ecosystem, and a lot of key features. So let's jump to the key feature of Python. Here, we can say we have like 6. But I would like to focus that this language is dynamic typing. No need to declare variable types. It's interpreted. You're gonna run code line by line for debugging. It's a high-level language, abstract to complex programming details. It's have a lot of extensive libraries, include libraries for tasks, data analytics, what we call it Panda, machine learning, what we call it TensorFlow, and web development like Django. Even it's working with cross-platform, allowing code to run on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux without any modification. And by end of day, we have to highlight simplicity. Python has a clean, readable syntax, easy to read, easy to learn, making it excellent choice for beginner and experienced developer at the same time. Hi, it's time to go and install Python on Windows. First step, we're gonna visit the official Python website, python.org, and download the latest version of Python for Windows. Second, we will download Visual Studio Code, which is gonna act as IDE for our course. And third, we're gonna run the installer inside the Visual Studio and add the Python for Visual Studio Code. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome back. I will visit right now python.org, and from here make sure you are in download folder, and here you're gonna click on download Python 3.1, and the installation here is just like straightforward. We're gonna click on install now, which is gonna take some time, and here that setup was successful. We're gonna click here on close, and it's time to go to our CMD to verify the installation. We're gonna type here Python space -- version and hit enter. We can find here the version of the Python has been installed successfully to our system. The next step is to go and install Visual Studio Code, which is like just straightforward. All you wanted to do is go to Google. So from here, Visual Studio Code, and go to this website. And from here, you're gonna click download for Windows. The next step here is to have our extension inside the Visual Studio Code. Here on the left, we have a complete icon for extension. You're gonna type here Python, and it's gonna populate for you all the Python. You're gonna click on this one, the first one, and make sure to install from here. This will be your first step. So now the Python is installed. Let's start writing some basic code and dive into Python syntax. Syntax inside Python gonna use some indentation to define code block, making it very readable and clean. Statements are terminated by a new line in Python, and variables are declared without any data type specifications. The comments part gonna start with this hash symbol, and for multi-line comments you're gonna enclose it within triple quote. And the output on the screen, we're gonna use print function to display output inside our system. Let's move to Visual Studio Code and continue from there. At the last video, we stopped at this part. So we're gonna click again on the extension. We don't want it as we already installed it. And we're gonna click on Explore. Here on the left, I added a new file. You're gonna click on New File and add a new file. We're gonna call it day01.py, stands for Python. And here, let's type together the first statement into the Python world. We're gonna type print, and I'm gonna say here, welcome to Python world. After that, we're gonna here on the right, click on this part and click on run Python file. As you can see down there in the terminal part, we can see welcome to Python part. Let's have some simple arithmetic. You're gonna type here for the comment and type simple math function. The first one is gonna be print, and we're gonna try 10 plus 5. This is gonna be the first, and we're gonna use subtract as well, multiplication, and the last is gonna be division. And again, let me print it out so we can find here 15, 5, 52. After we had some simple math functions, let's go and for another part related to variable assignment. In any part of coding language in the world, normally the right hand side gonna be stored on the left hand side. So if I'm gonna say name, and my name is Darwish, let me use double quotation, Darwish. Here I used to say the value on the right hand side, please go and take it and keep it on the left hand side. Here it's a value, that's why I keep it between double quote or even single quote. Both of them gonna work. And that one just a name of a variable. You're gonna name it X, Y, Z, any name in the world, but try to give it a meaningful name. You got my point. Some people gonna name it first name, last name, but definitely without any space. If we would like to print this one, we're gonna say print and open this one and gonna say name. And again, to run that one, we can find here Darwish is my name. But as you can see inside Python, I didn't say string, I just said a name. In any other programming language, this could throw an error, but here in Python world, no. Same apply for the age. You cannot say age 40. But I didn't say integer. I didn't say any definition or data type. Do you imagine that? I'm gonna say print and age, and even without semicolon, for example, and you're gonna hit run, it work. Give me my name Darwish and 40. Oh, that's incredible. That's amazing. Even we can have another type of print. You're gonna say, for example, name, and then we are using curly bracket. This curly bracket to go and get the value of the name, comma, gonna be as well age, and use the curly bracket to get the value of age. And let's have a look about this. If you're gonna go and run, I think we forgot something because we added here double quote. It should be by end for the syntax of Python. It should be at the end of that one and only one time at the beginning. So each and everything, it's between double quote like this inside Python. Let me try it again, and here it work. Say name, but as you can see, it didn't work. Still didn't give me the value of the name, didn't give me the value of the age, just print it out as it is. That's why you're gonna type F word before all of this. And let me try one more time. And here it's a magic start. Using this F word, give me name, gonna be Darwish, age, gonna be 40. Even you can put something like this, an arrow to make it more style. And here again, you can find it here, name, Darwish, age is 40. Even you can say something like that. My name is, and I have 40 years old. Even you can say here, I think, to say years old. Let me try it. And look at this, it worked. My name is Darwish, and I have, I don't know, I need to remove age again, and this arrow, and this arrow to be more meaningful. One more time. My name is Darwish, and I have 40 years old, or whatever in English. So that basically was how to communicate with variable, assignment, print, have loads of things, but we are trying to take basics with you right now. Let me go and work with one more topic, call it data input from the user. In that part, I'm gonna say another variable, get name, and here I'm gonna put a keyword, call it input, and that one gonna have a message. Please put your name or provide me your name. After that, the user gonna see this message and he gonna put his name. And I would like to go and print out his name. So I'm gonna say here, get name as a copy. I'm gonna paste it here as it is. And let me run this one again. Here is asking me, please put your name. I'm gonna say Darwish and hit enter. I can find it here. So whatever I gonna print, I gonna insert it here, it will be here. Let me try one more time. I'm gonna say endless A like this, and here we can find it over there. Next part, let's go and define constant. So we're gonna say here constant inside Python, always using caps. So if you're gonna say pi, that means the value inside the pi gonna be constant. As we know in mathematics, it's always 3.14. So that's basically how we gonna define constant inside Python. And let me print it out. It will be the same way. I'm gonna say here pi, and one more time. Let me execute this one, and we can again my name. Okay, so again here we can find pi. We can comment out this part, no need for it anymore. Okay, and let's go to the next one. Next one gonna be the basic data types in Python. As we know, we have integer, float, and so many. Let me try here. If we are using just a number, we're gonna say 42. And if we would like to print type of numbers, we're gonna say that this one is integer. What about if you again take both of them as a copy and paste it again in the same variable, and instead of 42 you're gonna add 0.5, and let me run this one out. You're gonna see the second time is float. We can print the number itself to make it more readable for you. You're gonna say print here's the number directly. You're gonna be like that, and print this one like this directly. So have a look here. We have 42 is integer and 42.5 is float. Let's remove any print over there. I'm gonna remove this print as well. This print, I don't want any print. Okay, all of them, let's remove it. Here and here and here, and see. But if we have here multi-line, what we can do, if we have like 100 line, I will not go one by one, so I will say triple quote like this at the beginning, and it should be at the end. We're gonna say here triple quote, so it will be 1 2 3, and look at this, it's all of this part should be commented out. And let me run this one again. Here I cannot find those variables. Even we can take that one as a cut and put it directly here at the beginning, so all of this part is commented out. Let me try. Here we can find only 42 integer, 42.5 is float. Great. Let's go all the way down and take all of this part as a copy and paste it here. And this time we're gonna say, for example, instead of number, we're gonna say is underscore valid, and that one we're gonna say true. And here instead of this, it will be copy and paste, and let me execute it again. Here we have true and gonna be boolean, and boolean inside Python gonna be true or false. And the last one here gonna be with the message. You're gonna type here hello, and same gonna be print type of, not tuple, type of message, and let me check, it should be string. String in coding or in Python or in any coding language, just like a part of characters like sentence, word, first name, last name, address, all of this we call it string. Even here we have one more trick. We can go for only one print instead of having so many print, and say number, comma, is valid, comma, message, instead of having each and every print statement here. Let me remove this one again with the number. We are using two numbers. Okay, we can use number 2, so we can distinguish between this and that. And here we can have only one statement for all of them, and this one will be number 2. And let me have a look about it. You can see it have all the values only in one line. And now we can use Python as a calculator. Python is incredibly amazing and can easily be used as a calculator for various operations, starting from very basic math equation up to advanced operation using the math library. So here we're gonna have some examples to go through one by one. The first one, as we saw, basic with addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. We will not repeat it right now. I would like to start with the power. So as we know in the math, 2 to the power 3 gonna be 8, because that means we're gonna multiply 2 multiply 2 multiply 2. Let me show you inside Python. All you have to do is go and type the base, which is gonna be 2, and double multiplication, and then 3, which is gonna act as the power. So we're gonna read it here like this: 2 raised to the power of 3. And let me run this one. We can find it, it's 8. That one gonna be the first. Next one, we have a modulus. Modulus inside mathematics, if we have 5 divide 2, here mod, it should be the remaining of division, which is gonna be 1. How can we do something like this inside Python? We're gonna say print, and the first one here gonna be 5, and mod gonna be percentage, and then 2. And let me run out this one. Here we can find gonna be 1. That's great. After that, I just typed here CLS to have some free space, and let's move to the order of operation. For example, if you have something like this, print, let's see, 5 plus 3 multiply 2. What do you expect out of this mathematical or arithmetic operation? The output here, let me think out with you. Here we have parentheses. That means go first and say 5 plus 3, which is gonna be 8, then multiply the result with 2. So this one should give me 16. Let me have a look. That one should give me 16. So if we go and run this part, exactly 16 as we expected. But what about if you remove the parentheses? I'm gonna take this one as a copy, and in this time I will remove the parentheses like this, and I'm gonna say 5 plus 3 multiply 2. What do you expect? Because we have a very famous rule inside mathematics, it's gonna say multiplication always come before addition. So in that case, multiplication gonna be 3 multiply 2, gonna be first, which is gonna be 6. 6 plus 5 is gonna be 11. So that one I expect it will be 11, because we're gonna say addition always come first. And here we're gonna say parentheses always come first. Let me run this part, and here is it. It's 11. The next one, if we have one more arithmetic inside this print, for example, 5 plus 3 multiply 2, and we're gonna say, for example, divide 2 or divide 4. What do you think here? We have another rule inside mathematics. It's gonna say if multiplication and division coming in the same mathematical operation, we should go by sorting. So which one come first here, division or multiplication? The first one came is division, but here I would like to have another number to make it easy for me, or let me like this, divide 4. Okay, and or I'm gonna multiply by 4 and divide by 2. So here I should go first, say 3 multiply 4, this is gonna be 12. Then I'm gonna divide by 2, which is gonna be 6, and then 6 plus 5 should be 11. So let me think out with you. It's gonna be first 3 multiply 4, that one gonna be 12, and the result we're gonna say divide by 2, which is gonna be in our case 6, and the last one here we're gonna add 5, which is gonna be 11. So I will go with 11. Let me go and execute out this one, and voila, it's fine. It's 11, as you can see. Hi back. In Python, understanding data type and variables is very important because they form the backbone of every program. Let's explore in depth the points here. First, we have integer. Integer acts as a whole number. It's gonna accept positive and negative number without any decimal points. Then we have float. That one gonna include decimal number, which can represent fraction values like 1.5, 7.3, and etc. Then we have string. That one actually is a sequence of characters enclosed within single or even double or even triple quotes. And finally we have boolean value, which is definitely true or false. So let's proceed from here. We have integer, decimal, string, and boolean, and if we're gonna print all of them, we're gonna find here the output. Let me type here CLS to clear all of this terminal. First thing, let's work with concatenation. Concatenation in Python, it means that you would like to concat between the first and the last name. In our case, we have here already name, so we're gonna use it with the last name by defining a variable, and that one I'm gonna have my last name, which is gonna be MOH. And if I would like to print the full name here, we're gonna say full name, and that one gonna be name plus last name. And to print it out, you're gonna say print full name. And let's have a look about this. If we're gonna execute this one, we can find here both of them have a concatenation but without any space. That's why I will come here again and adding space. So what happened here? Here plus acted as a concatenate definition inside string, and instead of adding a two number, it's like adding the string to the next string. So as you can see here, Darwish space MOH. The next part here in Python, you can assign multi-variables. So we're gonna say here assign multi-variables. Let's have a look about this example. You're gonna say A and B and C, all of them in sequence gonna have 1, 2, 3. What's the meaning here? Here we are assigning to a multi-variable in a single line multi-values. So if I'm gonna go and try to print B, for example, it's supposed to be number 2. Let's have a look about this one, but let me first comment out each and everything from there using the triple quote all the way up. I'm gonna have it like this and execute, and as we expected, B gonna have number 2 because A will go with number 1, B go with number 2, and C gonna go with 3. Not only that, have a look about this trick. You're gonna say data equal 4, 5, and 6. And if you come here and I'm gonna say x, comma, y, comma, z gonna equal data, if we're gonna test number or gonna test y, for example, what do you expect? Which value it will be there? If you said 5, you are right, because 5 is directly mapped with the second variable here. Let me have a look about this by run this one, and as we expected. And the last example here that we saw before, we can format using if word the string using if word and curly bracket. So if we're gonna run this one, we can find here my name is Darwish and I am 30 years old. So the variables here, we should put the variable inside the curly bracket. Hi back. Conditional statement allow Python program to make decision and execute different code based on conditions. The key points today with us gonna be F, which gonna have just one condition and execute a block of code based on this condition is true. The next one gonna be else, and that statement execute a different block of code if the condition is false, like even and odd. Both of them cannot execute together. And the last one here we have elseif or ELIF, and that one gonna allow you to check multi conditions in just one if statement. Let's move to Visual Studio Code and have few examples from there. Hi back. So here we are assigning 18 as a value to this variable age. Then we have a check through F. We are checking if age greater than or equal 18. We're gonna print out this message. Let me have a look here. As you can see, this gonna be true. That's why we're gonna print this message. What about if we have another statement in case gonna be if else? With this famous example for checking even and odd. So we have a number equal 10. Then we are checking if the number, the mod gonna be of 2 gonna be equal 0. That means it gonna be even, else it gonna be odd. In our case, if we're gonna divide 10 by 2, there will be no remaining at all. That means 10 gonna be even. But what about if we're gonna divide 7? But let me start with this one first, which we're gonna execute. 10 gonna be even. But in case we have number 7, 7 mod 2, it's gonna be remaining 1. In that case, it's gonna go to the else statement. And let me have a look. Here we're gonna see the number is odd. The next one, we're gonna type it together to check the score. So here we're gonna have a variable called score, and that one, for example, gonna be 88. Then we're gonna type if score is greater than or equal to 90, and we are putting the colon. Your grade gonna be A. The next one gonna be else if, and here the score, if it's greater than or equal to 80, in that case our grade gonna be B. Gonna type here grade B. And the next one gonna be else if, and in that case the score is greater than or equal to 70, your grade gonna be C. So as you can see here, we have 3 nesting if. The first one gonna have this condition. If it gonna success, he gonna execute this line and he will not proceed with all the other. If your grade gonna be between this condition, you're gonna execute B and he will not execute all the others. Same gonna apply for this third block. But what about if all the conditions is false? It means your grade gonna be 50. That's why we're gonna have at the last block gonna be else, which means if your grade is out of all the ranges, we're gonna be fail. Let me have a look here. Here gonna be our grade gonna be B, because 88 gonna be greater than 80 and less than 90. What about if we got just 50? And let me have another look. It's gonna bypass all the parts and it will go directly to the else, which are gonna print our grade just F. Let me execute it again, and here is it. Sometimes you would like to work with 2 conditions inside your if else. So in that case, if we're gonna have 2 variables, how can we gonna type our if? All we have to do, if in our system we have a discount for the age less than 30 and you should be student. So to do something like that, we're gonna say if your age is less than 30 and you are a student, that means you are qualified for discount. And let me have a look about this. He's gonna check your age is 25, which is less than 30, so this is gonna be true. And the next part is underscore student is true. So true and true should be working. Let me have a look here. You are qualified for a discount. Let's have here one more example for the login. Gonna be here is login equal true, and we're gonna say a message welcome back. And look at this, we're gonna type here if is login, it means that welcome back, else we're gonna say please log in, and then we're gonna print the message. And let me have a look here. If you're gonna type or gonna run this one, you're gonna find here welcome back, because is login equal true. But what about if the is login gonna be false? You will find this another message, please log in. So what happened here, if your statement, which is gonna be if is login equal false, he will go and proceed directly to the message inside else, which have this message, please log in. Welcome back. Loops are one of the most powerful tools in Python, which are gonna enable us to repeat actions or iterate over data structure. Let's dive in. For loop, which is gonna be used to iterate over a sequence, such as a list or even a string. We're gonna execute a block of code for each item. Then we're gonna have a look with while loop, which is gonna be repeatedly execute a block of code as long as certain condition is true. Then we're gonna have a look about 2 important keywords, break and continue. The break statement is used to exit a loop, and on the other hand, continue gonna skip the current iteration and move to the next one. Let's move to Visual Studio Code and have a look from there. I'm gonna start with this block of code, which you're gonna have here 3 fruits, apple, banana, and cherry. As you can find here 3 items, all of them assigned to a variable called fruits. And that what we call it inside Python is a list of items, like list of fruits, vegetables, or anything. Then we're gonna write for this gonna be just any variable in the world, just one fruit in the list of fruits. and then we're gonna print one fruit one by one. And let's have a look here. What's gonna happen? He's gonna type apple, banana, a cherry. What about if you're gonna add another one like strawberry and run this one? We still have the same old list beside the new fruit. It's coming with the list. What about if you want to print each and every letter from a word? So let's have any word in the world like Python, and to iterate on something like this, we're gonna say for letter in word. And after that, all I'm gonna do, I will go and print letter by letter inside this word Python. And let's have a look here, print letter, and let me execute it. We still see this one, Python. Hi back. Let's dive into while loop. The key points here: loops allow repetitive execution of code block as long as while loop the condition gonna be true. As well, Python gonna support break and continue with the while loop. Let's have the basic while loop. The basic while loop, let's start with a counter. This counter gonna start from 0 until 5. To do something like this, we're gonna define a variable, call it count, gonna start as initial value from 0, and we're gonna use while. As long as the count is still less than 5, please go and print for us the value. So we're gonna use if function, and inside this one we're gonna put here the counter or the count itself. And let's have a look about this one, but make sure you are not forget the colon part here. And let me retype the print statement. So if you're gonna print here the count, it will be just 0, and it will repeat 0 0 0 till the end. That's why don't forget ever the increment part. Here we should add 1 or 2 or whatever as incremental each and every time. So the first time gonna print 0, then I'm gonna print 1. As long as the value here is still less than 5, it will keep printing the values. Let me have here clear statement, and let's go and execute this application. You're gonna find 0 1 2 3 4 until 5 is not less than 5. It will get out of this loop. What about if you wanna to use break with this one? We can do something like this. We can say go until 5, but once you're gonna reach 3, please exit. So we can add here if statement, and we're gonna say if the count double equal, for example 3, that means once you reach this one, please don't continue. That's why we're gonna use here break statement. It's gonna cut this while loop and it will exit. Let's have a look here. So we're gonna start from 0 1 2. Once it's gonna reach 3, it will not continue all the while loop. But what about if we replace break with another keyword, call it continue, and let's run this application? It's gonna give you the same one, 0 1 2. But to keep the logic of continue, you should do one more part. You should replace the counter before the if statement, because the logic here, we want to bypass number 3. We want to print 0 1 and 2 and bypass 3 part and go all the way. And let's execute this one, and as you can see, the count gonna be 1 2, then jump it directly till 4 and 5. That means it's gonna skip number 3. If we're gonna go all the way till number 10, we can skip any number. We can skip, for example, number 5. Let me test it out again. You're gonna find 1 2 3 4, then we're gonna skip number 5 and go all the way till the last one. Not only that, we can even work with decrement part. We can start our counter from even 10 and go all the way till 0. So we're gonna say here, while the count greater than 0, please go and decrement each and every time by 1. and let's have a look here. It's gonna be starting from 9 all the way till 0. Then let's work with one of the most famous mathematical operation or statistical operation. We're gonna call it factorial calculation. As you know, the factorial is gonna start from just a number. It's gonna be 5, and then gonna be each and every time multiply by less than 1. So it's gonna be 5 multiply by 4 by 3 by 2 till it's gonna reach till 1. To define something like that, we're gonna start with a number, and in our case it's gonna be 5, and we're gonna define another variable have a value 1, and we're gonna start our while loop, and we're gonna say here as long as the number is still greater than 0, please go and keep the value inside or the result inside the factorial, and each and every time multiply by the number itself, but make sure in next step you're gonna minimize the number by 1. And after all of this, please go and print for us the result, which is gonna be the factorial itself. I'm gonna keep this one here inside that part. The factorial, we're gonna put it here as the result. So let me go and execute this statement. Let me remove unused space from here, and let's go and execute this one. As you can find here inside the factorial, it's gonna be the total value here gonna be 120. Let me remove the first part, and here the factorial of 5 gonna be 120, and that's exactly the result of this one. Let's try with another value like 3, which it should be 3 multiply 2 multiply 1, it should be 6. Let's me try this time and execute. It give me 6, and that's basically the equation of factorial. In case you don't know about it, we're gonna here the factorial of 1 gonna be 0, factorial of 1 gonna be 1, 2 gonna be 2, and 3 it should be 6. As you can see, 4 gonna be 24, and we used right now with 5, which give me 120. We can try right now with 9, and it should be all the way down. As you can see, if you're gonna start with 9, it should be 9 multiply 8 multiply 7 till reach to 1. So 9 here inside this table, it gave me this huge number. Let's try with 7. It should give me 5040. So let's move the number here. Instead of 3, we're gonna try with 7 and execute. It give me exactly 5040. Hi back. Functions and modules are essential building block of Python programming. They enable us to structure our code, making it reusable and keep it organized. Here we have some blocks of code that gonna perform a specific task. All of it gonna take an argument and return a result. Something like summation inside mathematics gonna take 2 parameters, 2 plus 3. It should provide us with the result, which is gonna be 5. So let's jump to Visual Code and have some examples from there. Hi back, let's go and define our first function ever inside Python. It's very easy. You're gonna use this keyword. Def stands for define, then the name of the function, in our case it's gonna be great, and then we're gonna put here colon. After that, let me put very simple body for this function. It doesn't have anything, just hello Python. And to call this function, all you want to do is give the name of the function again and open and close parentheses. Here we have 0 parameter. After that, let me execute out this function. Please make sure to put this one at the beginning of the line like that, and run this one again, and here you can find hello Python. Let's move to use a parameter with this function. We can put here a variable. We're gonna call it name to say hello name or something like this. So how can we add the name? It's very easy. We're gonna use F for format, as we remember, And then instead of Python, we're gonna put the name of just the variable here, name. And inside the parameter, here we have just one parameter. So inside the function parameter, we're gonna put Darwish, and here you should find hello Darwish. And here we found an issue because we put double curly bracket. Let me remove this one and run the function again. Here we can find hello Darwish. Not only that, we can repeat it again with another name, something like Sarah, and let me execute it again. Here we can find first time hello Darwish, then hello Sarah. That means inside Python he's gonna take this value and insert it here in this variable and then call hello and the name of the person. Then let's jump to have another function to return a value. We're gonna define another function. We're gonna call it add numbers, and in this case we're gonna have how many parameter? It should be 2, A and B. And inside the body we're gonna return A plus B. And then let me call this function. So to do something like that, you can say print statement, and inside the curly bracket you can call the function directly, or we can have something like a result, a third variable. So you're gonna say result equal add numbers. The first time we're gonna pass 5 as the first parameter, then 10, and after that we can directly print the result. And let's have a look about this one. If we're gonna print, it should, we always forget the colon in the definition of the function. Let me execute it again. Here we got 15. Let's work with the loop and functions, both of them in the same time, to print something like range. Print a range using function and loops. Let's have a look about this example. We're gonna define print range. This is gonna be the name of the function, and in this time we're gonna use asterisk and args argument, and here we're gonna have the colon. So here we're gonna have a for loop to iterate about the range of the number. So we're gonna have a variable, call it number, in this range, and then we're gonna print the number itself. So we're gonna say here the number as a variable, and let's have the range here as a new line, and please start from very beginning. Okay, we're gonna say here print range, and let me put here any range of numbers like 1 2 3 4 60 122, any number 22, and let me go and execute out this one, and voila, here we can find all the range, because this asterisk arg parameter gonna allow us to pass a variable number of argument to the function. Congratulations on completing this introduction journey into Python. We have taken your first step into the world of programming. To summarize, we took the Python basics, data type and variable, loops and conditions, and we finish with functions. To highlight the next step for you, you can use Python for web development, data science and AI, and automation and scripting, or even game developing. In this course, we cover the Python basics from installing Python to writing your first programming. Then we explore the foundation concept like syntax, data type, loops, and functions that form the core concept of Python programming. So what's next? You can continue your Python journey by learning about object-oriented programming, working with library and framework, go to file handling and database, and testing and debugging. Thank you for joining me, Darwish, on this Python journey. Remember, learning to program opens countless opportunities, and Python is a great place to start. Happy coding!